Hi, I'm Jen Picardo along with Emma Monro Harris from Found&Chosen. And today we're going to be talking a lot about AI and agencies and discussing Emma's brainchild, Go-to-Market Intelli, which is powering, it's the powering force behind the new agency command center. So Emma, super excited to dive into this with you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me, Jen. And always excited to talk about putting humans in command.
Absolutely. And before we get too far in, can you just talk a little bit about like what Go-to-Market Intelli is, what your vision for it was? I think that'll kind of help, set up the discussion.
Absolutely. So many angles here, but if we go back 18 months ago, when I was really diving into, the future of agents, the future of agencies, etc., I had this vision of, remember the movie Minority Report? Back in the early 2000s with Tom Cruise, that just my vision is to put humans, our go-to-market leaders, in the command seat to step forward, just like Tom Cruise does in Minority Report, and work with the agents in his command. And that's where I see the opportunity, but also the risk for agencies. At the moment, agencies, they are so human-centric, which is fantastic, and their talent is their superpower, but their talent has to be super agile. No one really works in the same way, etc. And so there's some limitations for agencies. And it's a little bit scary right now because their clients are coming to them and saying, oh, you can do this with AI now, but ChatGPT is not going to cut it, right? The clients are going to expect a very, very low price if an agency is just using ChatGPT. Whereas if an agency can kind of shift the model a little bit and turn their humans into these rock star humans in the loop that work with specific agents that have been built and deployed and trained on their clients' taxonomy, this is getting ahead a little, but then the agency retains even more power in the future by being in command.
I love it. I definitely think great visual and, good really kind of overview of like the role you sort of see AI and humans playing. And so why don't we, dive in and we'll start with sort of just the lay of the land and the state of agencies in AI these days.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I guess if we're looking at, just the marketers and communicators in general, I think that most people I know are, overworked. They are stretched thin. They have juggling roles. They are on top of that. If you're an agency in particular, still trying to figure out how AI might fit into your business, let alone for the clients who are demanding the AI piece of it more and more every day. And so you kind of put all that together and you sort of still have leadership expecting measurable ROI yesterday. So, kind of where's your head at around that?
Agencies aren't that different than the clients that we work with and the businesses that we're talking to about their usage of AI agents, where everyone's kind of dipping their toe in a very siloed way. Mm-hmm. They're working with platforms that agencies have bought that are legacy platforms that have invested in AI, but they basically just, for lack of a better term, shoved AI into their legacy platform. So it's not AI first, which I totally get. But as agentics evolve, that's going to become a negative. And so the siloed nature of AI usage right now is unsecure. It's not dependable. It's not trained on the specific client's needs, and it's not a revenue option right now. It's not a revenue elevator right now. Whereas looking at it from okay, this is the business and this is how we're going to operate and this is how we're going to enable our humans and clients in the future, that's where we need to get to, and fast.
Fair point, right? Absolutely. And I think in looking at some of these numbers, we're talking about seeing really high amounts of agencies that are already using AI. We're seeing the time spent on manual tasks like reporting and analysis, and the number of tools that people are using being a huge number as well. And so I kind of see a mismatch in the use versus outcome. So I'm kind of wondering where you think that breakdown might be.
Well, that goes back to exactly what I was just saying, is they're using AI somewhere, but it's not secure. They're just off cowboying it, like putting in a campaign into ChatGPT, asking it to analyze it, or maybe using it to generate some images, maybe. They're certainly not using it to do reporting.
And so
could be done. And so everything's spread out and scattered.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so passionate about the agency command center, to enable agencies, humans, to not just retain their value, but become the commanders of the future.
I mean, I really enjoy kind of your outlook and your vision on that. I know we've talked before a little bit about the fact that you sort of see agencies lagging behind enterprises in the area of AI, and looking at the right use cases that can kind of get them to where they need to go.
Yes.
And it kind of just makes me, it reminds me of sort of one of your phrases, is that they're not orchestrating.
No.
Right?
No.
They're just sort of
knee-jerking.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I think the other thing too to kind of just keep in mind is that AI isn't thinking for itself, right? It's not connecting data. It's not making connections necessarily on its own. So when we think about the fact that we don't need silos, right? We need this like interconnected system of tools.
Yes.
I think that that's kind of what makes this possible. And I also think that because of that connection need, and the need to sort of build the overarching system, like that's really where humans matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're the ones that connect it all.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have, it almost turns agencies, a command center turns agencies into a reseller technology company who can position their humans as these rock star humans in the loop that can work with their clients with these agents, almost like a trifecta. And, agencies they're in the business to make money, of course. And so the revenue model is going to change.
Absolutely. That's great. It's good insight. And so we know, right? They're using it. Great. Are they using it the right way? Probably not. So really, how do we kind of close that gap? Since, like I said before, most tools are just sort of piecing together. Yep. How do we orchestrate the system? How do we get it to work all together? And I think this is kind of a really good lead in to introducing the Agency Command Center, which is your baby.
Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about the baby. So introducing the Agency Command Center it has a unified data hub. So that's where like all your legacy platforms feed into the command center. And then for each client has their own taxonomy. Each client has their own voice of brand, has their own way that they look at and run and optimize paid channels. They have their own way of doing reporting in a certain style. And so the command center is a place for both client and your humans in the loop within the agency to come in to a client's command center within the agency command center to execute, right? So it's beyond a dashboard, right? No one needs another dashboard. You come in and you work with the AI agents to execute.
I gotcha. So, I mean, we also know that, we're seeing layoffs happening. We're seeing people get worried that AI is taking their jobs. Is it fair to say that, sure, we might need to maybe cut 25, 30%. However, we are going to keep these 70% rock stars, as you say, and that they really need to be the incredible humans that are sort of in the loop, working with the AI agents and really connecting the strategy, the creativity, the context, and judgment to what they're doing.
Absolutely. So I take it back to, I'm obviously Australian, and well, I think it's obvious. And in Australia, a barista that makes your coffee every morning is such a rock star that if that barista moves to a coffee shop 1 mile down the road, all the clients from that coffee shop will move 1 mile down the road, right? To get that coffee from that barista. I see the same thing happening with the humans in the loop that become rock stars working with the AI agents, right? That's our point of difference. Yes, we're making amazing AI agents, but where we're leaning in hard is to enable, empower, and celebrate the humans that are creating the magic with the AI agents.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have the word humanality up on the screen at the moment. It's my own definition because it's not a word, but it's my word. But I think that like that kind of just talks to the point that like AI can't do all of the things that humans can do that are uniquely human.
Yes.
And so if we kind of keep that in mind, and then we also think about how AI is proliferating and how it's evolving, can you talk a little bit more and maybe define a little bit better the human in the loop implications and really how you're going to use those rock stars in that kind of model?
Absolutely. So as an agency owner myself, I look at our squad leaders and our paid media managers and our graphic designers and go, there is so much vision and talent and magic there that can be 10x'd by training and empowering them to use AI agents really well. So as an example, with our channel agent, it has to know the rules. It has to know the taxonomy per client of, look, we look at LinkedIn click-through rate, it's a very simple example, at 0.06%, right? Anything under that needs to be flagged, and this is how we will treat it. Now, not every human knows that, but the rockstar humans know how to tweak the budget pacing and tweak the optimization and tweak this and tweak that to generate a 0.13% click-through rate, right? And so if the human in the loop rockstar can train their AI model agent for that client to achieve that, and then the AI knows that for future, right? Execution happens faster on multiple levels, right? And that allows the human to focus on other more strategic things.
Yeah, and I love that outlook. I think, maybe one of the key takeaways from that is that humans still need to know how to do things, right? They need to know the why and the what's, because they're what's training the models. And so I think it's just a really good kind of example of how this is how you use AI. Not that you're using it, but you're using it in the right ways.
Absolutely. So that's where an agency can really make their humans rock stars, right? And that becomes their point of difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk a little bit about some of the ways that we see this command center impacting agencies, right? I know we've talked a lot about the time it takes figuring out what to do when things are disjointed, things that are out of date, reporting that's out of date almost immediately as you send it, looking for updates and chasing down people, right?
Can we just talk about reporting for a second?
Yes.
Right? Some QBRs take 6 weeks to put together.
Absolutely.
Right?
They do, yeah.
And by the time you get to the middle of the next quarter, it is so out of date, it's not funny. Right? If you can train an AI model to process the reporting and look for these specific things in this specific way, as the human training that AI model, that gets faster and faster and faster each quarter. So then you can run a QBR every week if you wanted to on a rotating basis based upon the last 90 days. That's game changing. Right? If you wait 6 weeks, to get insights to empower your broader team, they're not going to be able to implement that for another quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of time is currently being burned and has been burned for a long time. And this is revolutionary.
100%. I think it also, when agencies are struggling with things like utilization and account priority, right? This can be a real difference maker.
Absolutely.
I also kind of think that, we're changing the culture a little bit, right? So we are
a little bit, a lot.
Yeah, we're changing it a lot. I'm being kind, but culture is changing a lot. We can't really tiptoe necessarily into using AI agents as an agency, because the fact of the matter is they're here and they are ready to help you build your business.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. So I know we've kind of, we've mentioned the idea of agents and sort of how they partner together. Can you talk a little bit about a couple of examples where, we see kind of the real implications of human in the loop versus not human in the loop in AI application?
Oh, absolutely. There has been so much, even just over the last 2 weeks, where human in the loop is so integral to the success of an AI agent, right? An AI agent is a fancy automation tool that can think on its own, but it still needs to be given context and a taxonomy. So if we backtrack of what is a taxonomy, right? A taxonomy is, if we talk about branding, is the voice of the brand, right? This is our tone. This is our words we do use. These are words that we don't use. You can be playful in this scenario, but not always. And this is why, right? Previously with systems, it's the not always piece is almost impossible to do. With AI, you can train an AI model on that not always or exceptions piece, right? But you still need to, if the AI does the work based upon the taxonomy, you still need a human to go, you know what, in this scenario, that is not applicable because of ABC. So the AI will know that for the future, but for this particular campaign, the human in the loop caught it,
right,
retrained it, and was able to execute.
So, I mean, if I am getting this right, and I am paraphrasing here, but essentially you build the guardrails in, they do their job for the most part. There can still be anomalies that occur, and there is the value that you get out of the human who is reviewing and approving those changes.
Exactly. And unless you have an agent monitoring what your competitor's doing, right, then as the human who sees the ads or has a conversation at the coffee shop or wherever about what the competitor's doing, then the human in the loop comes to the table with the AI agent and goes, hey, just learned this. We need to quickly change this, this, and this, right? That's why the partnership is so important.
I love that. And I think when we talk about the reporting, right? Because reporting is the bane of everyone's existence, I think. If you like reporting, I'm not sure about you. But when you think about the time that you can get back, right? I mean, in some of these cases and the case studies that we're showing on the screen, like people have been able to gain back 30 hours of time from just that activity. So if you think about it, that's like 4 working days. And aside from better campaign outcomes, I think it just really frees up time for people to let their creativity flourish, gives them headspace to strategize and really think in ways that maybe they just don't have the time for today.
More time to communicate, right? And become an extraordinary human in the loop.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just love the emphasis on it's the system and the AI and it's the human. And if you can get those two right, then you're kind of setting yourself up for success.
Absolutely.
So why don't we take a couple minutes here just to sort of jump into what the agency command center looks like. I will let you sort of lead the way and tell me how you want me to drive and just talk us through it.
Absolutely. So when you step into, and it really is stepping into the command center, you've got 10 to 12 agents right now to choose from to activate. So, and you may not want to activate them all at once. This particular dashboard here, I would lean on you to explain more about, Jen. You pushed hard with this one of like, what's it like to manage the business of an agency, not necessarily client execution.
Mm-hmm. So let's stick with agents here. Then I'll pull up your agents for you, and you can kind of talk a little bit more about that, and then I'll hop into the views.
Absolutely. So the way we've designed this is an agency can come in and command their business, but then have all of their, it's got listed here as portfolio companies or client companies on the left, and build a command center for each client. Obviously, you need client's permission to do that. But let's say Quantum Capital, they have engaged a command center for their brand, voice of the brand for content creation, a creative agent, and a channels agent that manages all their paid media, right? They may not want or need the other 7 agents at this stage, right? And so the agency can build and charge for these AI agents and enable their humans in the loop to run those agents. So within Quantum Capital would be an agent that manages their content and their voice of brand, generates content in the voice of the brand, pairs creative with that content, and then places it and manages it in the channel agent on multiple platforms, LinkedIn, Google, Meta, etc. And then that channels agent is constantly working with the agency human in the loop to manage budgets, to optimize, to create reporting, etc. All with the human in the loop.
That's awesome. And you know, I like from a managing your business right perspective. This is where I kind of lean in to the command center, being able to have a portfolio view of your clients, right? Just like any venture capitalist might or an investment firm might. Yes. Being able to see their status, being able to look at the risks, right? Like being alerted that there's a problem before it becomes a problem, so that there's time for you to do something about it. Yes. This is kind of like a CFO's dream for me. But you know, I love that it gives you the health of the agency, and you also still get your client views, right? So you can kind of spot where there might be opportunities for upsell or gaps where you're not servicing correctly. You know, I mentioned utilization rates earlier. Do we have the right people on the right accounts? Or, you know, are we too focused on this project and not enough on this one? Yeah. This is a way to really take a look and analyze your business. And I feel like it's a huge thing that agencies struggle with today is this type of visibility and like oversight of the entire operation.
It's visibility, transparency, and accountability, right? Because you can now see as an agency, oh, the human in the loop allocated to Nexus Dynamics, hardly any usage there. Why? Right. Why is there no execution? There's no credits being used. Yeah. So why is that? Are we going to get renewal on this account when, you know, they're not using it? So
right. And you've got your kind of client dashboard right in front of you. You can drill in. So if I want to look at, you know, Nexus as the example, now I've sort of got what's going on with them. What are they leaning into with their agents? You know, how are things looking in the health of their business? And to your point, this is sort of where, you know, account managers and those humans in the loop are going to be spending their time.
I actually like this Nexus one, just as an example, because they've got 5 agents active and their utilization is pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. So I think, you know, from both the serving your clients, being able to show them the value, that they can have these same insights in real time. I think that's a huge opportunity, right? I mean, we're addressing the fact that clients want AI solutions. They're demanding it. And I think, like I just mentioned, you can prove the value, and that really helps you to deepen the relationship, redefine the partnership, and because you can build them their own command center, it kind of opens up a new revenue stream for you.
Massive revenue stream.
Yeah. So, I mean, can we talk a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're focused on usage. So instead of selling seats, once a client wants a command center, they pay for a command center at very low cost per month, no matter how many users that they want in there, right? So the ideal state would be for the client to have users and humans in the loop partnered with the agency's human in the loop. So they're all working on it together very synchronistically. So the way it works is that they pay per agent. So an email agent is whatever it is per month. A reporting agent is whatever it is per month, no matter how many people are in there working with that agent. And then they pay for credits. And there's a uptick on what, so there's a revenue model for agencies per agent, and there's a revenue model for agencies per credit.
And when we talk about setup, I know the initial build can be a little bit of time, but in terms of where this sits, it just really sits on top of your existing tools, right?
Correct. So an agency can opt to have their own totally separate, totally managed service command center themselves, or they can do it in our multi-tenant platform, which is more cost effective.
I love that too. I mean,
the path they want to take.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of hit a lot of these kind of takeaways. I think we probably have a little bit of time for a couple of Q&As if you want to get to those. So let's kind of see. If you had to pick one agent, I feel like I know which agent you might pick, but I'm going to ask it anyways. If you had to pick one agent to work alongside you tomorrow at an agency, which would you pick and why?
Oh, at an agency, it would have to be the channels agent.
Yeah.
But I did get feedback from a partner that the CRM agent is a work of art. So either one of those, but not all agencies, are CRM agencies. They don't tend to touch that, but you kind of need to touch that to manage other agents.
Absolutely. And I think, to your credit, the channel manager is really pretty critical at an agency. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Day-to-day operations right there.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess, can you tell me a little bit more about all that messy data and which agent handles that?
All the messy data, that's the CRM agent. So the CRM agent was created to keep how many times have we heard, or who in this world is happy with their CRM architecture? No one, right? Probably more happy with HubSpot architecture than Salesforce architecture. Salesforce is incredible, but it's very easy to screw up the architecture there. And so the CRM agent really monitors and advises and makes the changes that are necessary to have a clean architecture all the time, which then informs, which accounts and which contacts go into the channel agent's audiences, etc. So you do kind of need that one first.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess if I can sort of, sum up what has been such a great conversation around marketing and agencies and AI and, what the future is looking like when it comes to leveraging it and really understanding how to make it work for your agency, I would say maybe that it's really not about replacing the humans. It's about equipping them with the AI systems with strategy.
Yes.
It's about orchestrating data and tools into unified systems for time savings and decision making, and creating a new kind of partnership model where you are human-led, AI-powered, and revenue generating.
Human-led, AI-powered, revenue generating. That's all we had to say for this entire webinar.
I should have opened with that.
Yeah.
So I guess
we can get our AI agent to edit it that way later.
Perfect. Yeah. I guess one last question before we kind of end here. But when can we expect the agency command center to hit the market?
The pressure. The initial command center and first agent will go live securely, I would expect, by the end of March. There will be 10 agents that follow very quickly after that. And that will be the end of April.
Amazing.
Yes.
And I also want to just kind of call out, because we've talked about this a little bit, that we are looking for a small group of agencies who might want to act as design partners and really test, finalize, help shape that platform for its first release.
Yes.
Any any kind of like tidbits there, or why someone might be interested?
And we'll discuss.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out to me. You can drop me a DM on LinkedIn. You can email me. You can send a pigeon. It doesn't matter. But first, I want to thank you, Emma, for kind of chatting through this all today. Super energized and thankful that I get to work alongside you while we kind of bring this amazing platform to life. And look forward to continued conversations around AI and agencies.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jen. Always good to talk.